My husband didn't have relations with me and only used his hands. After I found out the reason, I was shocked. I used to think distance in a marriage was about physical space, the gap between two bodies lying in the same bed. I was wrong. Distance is watching your husband's hands reach for you in the dark, feeling the warmth of his touch through fabric, and knowing that's as close as you'll ever get. We'd been married for 3 years when I finally admitted it to myself. Something was fundamentally broken between us. Not broken in the way that fights and slammed doors break things, broken in the way that silence breaks things. Slowly, methodically, until you can't remember what wholeness felt like. My husband touched me. That wasn't the problem. His hands were always there, smoothing my hair when I was anxious, steadying my elbow when I stumbled, tracing gentle patterns on my back when I couldn't sleep. But it never went further. Not really. Not in the way that made me feel like a wife instead of something fragile he'd been assigned to protect. I tried everything. The obvious things first: new lingerie that stayed folded in my drawer, candles that burned down to nothing while he worked late in his office, suggestions that were met with tired smiles and promises of soon, then the less obvious things. I read articles about intimacy and connection. I talked to my married friends in careful, hypothetical terms that fooled no one. I even asked him directly once after too much wine at dinner if he still found me attractive. Of course, he'd said. And the sadness in his eyes made me wish I hadn't asked. The question hung between us for days afterward, making everything worse. He started working later. I started going to bed earlier. We developed an unspoken choreography of avoidance, two dancers who'd forgotten how to move together. That's when the theory started taking root. My sister had visited us the previous month, my perfect, accomplished older sister who'd always been everything I wasn't. Confident where I was anxious. Graceful where I was clumsy. The kind of woman people remembered long after she left a room. I'd watched him watching her over dinner. The way his attention sharpened when she spoke. The small smile that played at his lips when she told stories about her life in Boston. What if I'd always been the backup plan? The safe choice he'd made when he couldn't have what he really wanted? It would explain everything. The careful distance, the way he touched me like I might shatter, the feeling that I was living in a marriage designed for someone else. Someone better. The thought consumed me. You can watch the full story on my channel by clicking on the title of the video below.